how is it right now? Where are you sitting? Is the bombing going on? What's been happening today?
Okay, the bombing was more heard and to be worried about. Obviously the first time when 7:30 we woke up in the morning from sounds. The glass was shaking in our bedroom, and my husband and I woke up and we went to and now we have a cat obviously, and she started screaming and all that sort of stuff. So we got out to the balcony and we saw in the distance, not too far, just smoke just rising in the to the sky. And then my husband said, I think we're being shelled, we're being hit or something. And of course, straight away, everyone starts ringing each other and the sirens went off. And of course, I haven't been in that situation where you have to go down. So we knew where it was. We went down the whole building. And of course, I was getting my things together. I have a bag of things that are necessary stuff. And then I think the last minute, oh, I haven't got this, I haven't got that. So I was packing all that up, and of course getting the washing in from the line before, and he's going, hurry up. So we all went down. It's a little shelter, and what the photos that you saw was obviously a couple of nights after, and a lot of there was hardly any children, because obviously they've taken the children, the families have taken the children out of here because they're concerned. So there was like 80 people down there. It was difficult to breathe, our shelters and everything. And so then we started getting updates of what was happening, whether it was a drone or something they hit, and it had hit an apartment not far from us, just one apartment. It was probably the shrapnels or something. It hadn't gone through. But what happened was the mother was lying and the child was next to her, and the child went up in the air and came down onto her body, onto her chest. So that was a bit of a saviour, obviously. It didn't hit the ground. And shrapnel in different places where they hit. So it started from there, obviously. But apparently in other regions, I think Armenia would probably tell you more exactly, it started much earlier. The enemy had been on some borders collecting their ammunition, or obviously tanks and things like that piling up. But it's been like that for a while. You've probably heard all Aliyev's and Turkey and Azerbaijan, how they've been talking about and getting their people all hyped up about Armenia, Artsakh is ours, and things like that. So they've been careful about it, the army, but obviously it broke up on Sunday. And so, and during the day, we did have it a few times, the sirens going off and on. And it could have been, there's different drones, like there's a drone that just takes pictures and photos of areas, and there's one that actually drops bombs. And, our Armenian soldiers, if what was your saying about Azeris bad shooters or something like that? Well, obviously that, because we've got a lot of trophies of some of the drones and all that we've hit. So they're doing well, our boys, and thus it started after that. Today and yesterday during the day, we haven't had that many sirens going off, obviously nothing necessary, but at nights we usually go down and stay. And you know where we stay after the shelter was just too small and unbearable? Viaggio, our good restaurant, Viaggio.
I love that restaurant, yes.
Yeah, that's actually on this side, it becomes a basement, but on the other side, the entrance is obviously, it's the same level of the street. So when you go further in where we don't, there's lounges, that's actually a basement. So they opened their doors and people just started moving in there. And there was lots, there was about 50, 60 children, there was about 40 adults, and just packed in. And obviously the emotions that we're going through with the ones who've gone through 3 wars was not that good. The children not realizing, smiling, laughing and all that sort of stuff. But the older people were just remembering the past, and it was going through their minds. And of course they started taking people, not just the soldiers, obviously volunteers that wanted to sign up and that. So the men started going, obviously. And it's been like that. In the regions, it's a lot more. It's an all-day thing. I know some of ours, other kin.
Is that around Martakert region on the east side?
Yeah,
or is it?
yeah. Martakert, the city is all, it's all been evacuated. Everyone's out of the city. And obviously Madaris, Talish, and places in the north, all those north places, they're all been evacuated out, obviously. A lot of families that evacuated out, they've seek shelter in Stepanakert, some of the hotels, obviously, they brought them here. And the rest that they have relatives in Armenia, they've just taken them out there because too many kids, you know, in the regions, they're multi-person families, 5, 6, 4, 5, you know, children like that. And I mean, it's bad enough to worry about a 17-year-old. I'm going through it now. If you have to worry about where's the other one, and also it just affects them too much mentally. You know, the shelling, the bombing, seeing their mother panicking, obviously. So not everyone handles it as well as they can, and it's been going on mainly in the regions. We've gone forward a lot in the north, which is good. Yeah,
oh, that's good.
Xiaomian. Yeah, Xiaomian. So in the north, yeah. So obviously they came forward a little bit, and then we went back and took over again. It's been back and forth. It's gone 5 days already. It's not the April 2016 4-day war. I don't think they want to pull back, and neither do we, because we're not only, as you know, we were defending ourselves. They're shelling and bombing civilians and women and children. We've had casualties. That the child that I sent a photo of, obviously, there's been other ones like that. Another one died, his sister died and everything. So there's innocent people, so there's no holding back. Our soldiers are strong, they're courageous, as you know. 18-year-olds, when you look at the death list, born 2002, 2000, they've just gone July. They went to do their 2-year service. So a lot of them that have died have been the newly retrenched soldiers that have gone. So it's quite dramatic. It's quite it's full on, much worse than 2016, obviously, and it is it's not face to face or anything like that. It's a lot more aerial bombing, and that's how they're doing it. And you know they have the money, they have the oil, so money's not a problem, and they have thousands and thousands of them.
Yeah, there have been reports here that they've had thousands of jihadists whom they've imported by Turkey,
yes,
from Syria and Libya.
Yes,
yeah,
that's right. And you know, they get paid. You know, usual thing. How they find out is they have the passports. They carry their passports from different countries. And there was, although we don't trust the internet so much, but on Facebook they had a picture of a whole lot of men coming from Syria, obviously, and it had said they're going to help their Azeri brothers or whatever with their masks on. So yeah, they would. And they can tell the difference between them, obviously, because a soldier's not well built, a lot of muscles and things like that. You know, soldiers, they're thin, whatever, but these ones have been trained and they're well prepared for all this.
Yeah.
And it's obviously pre-planned attack on Artsakh and on civilian locations, villages, cities, and
the things that we were told, and Andrew did most of the writing of the update and has done it very, very well and put a lot of stuff in. But we were told by other people as well that before this declaration of war, there was a lot of Azeri, Turkish air practice and sort of runs, I know, air runs over the borders, etc., etc. Yeah,
they've been doing every time. I think the last couple of weeks it's been going on. So we've been on our toes. It hasn't been that we haven't been, but obviously they've also been on the internet saying that Armenians were the first to attack, and you know those stories. I mean, it's not the case. We would never do that. We have every life that is lost is worth 1,000 of someone else's for us, because of our numbers and because you know, we wouldn't take the risk of doing that to endanger the lives of civilians and villages and families. So that's a definite no-no, and that's why Zori rang me straight away. I mean, near the shelter, and he's ringing me and he's saying, Artemis, you know the usual thing, Artemis. I go, yeah, Zori, hello. And he goes, can you stand somewhere where I can hear you better? And I'm going, no. I'm on the stairs of the shelter. And he says, you must ring Cox, tell her what's happening. I said, well, okay, let me just go through this part of it and then I'll let her know. So he was obviously trying to get you to, he knows
updated statement this evening, and you can forward it to Zora. And I had a lovely thank you message from Holy Etchmid team yesterday. Minister
good.
Obviously,
good.
Which is good. So they get another one along with your. We didn't put your name there. We don't want you targeted. But
I'll be on that blacklist as well.
There anyway. It's honors. It's not a bad list. But,
and the amazing thing, which you saw in 91, 92, all throughout, we saw in 2016, is that the unification, the unity of our people, the diaspora, Armenia. You just won't believe it. I get calls. I can't keep up with the messages and everything. I get calls from more friends of friends, you know, anyone just saying, how can we help? What can we do? What can we send? What do you need? And same with Armenia. They have, my son's there, and he went and he went today with his class friends, because they're all there, these class friends, to help. They're taking donations, collecting donations in the street like they did last time. Anyone, they say, we want sugar, we want water, we want wet ones, we want dry paper towels and this and that, whatever. No foods that'll, you know, they'll rot or go off. And so they supply the boxes, and they put them in boxes, in this much sugar, this much that, label it and whatever. So there's those sort of things are going on all over Armenia. And our organisation, Armenian Relief Society, obviously knows about, is the first also diaspora NGOs to get going, and they're contacting the health ministry in Armenia to see. It's very centralised, everything, which is good. You contact and they say what they need, and they're shipping it out. So we're united, and that I don't think there's a country in the world that acts like us, and we've got a lot of experience in that, and all the wars we've gone through. So it's good to know.
The morale is quite good, actually, despite the situation.
It is. They're out in the streets. They're protesting. They want the world to know that. I mean, it is a tragic, and only I don't want to use any swear words you're recording, but I don't think any country.
Don't worry.
Any country in the world.
I understand.
I can't believe that in a situation for 10 months, the world has been battling this COVID-19, and they've got their hospitals full, and they've got, you know, they're in a very, very difficult situation. How could any normal human being or government or any leader decide to attack on innocent people when they are or have already been going through an epidemic like this that the world has? I mean, it's just, they have to be condemned. The world has to stand to this.
It's just actually
make a stand.
And has Stepanakert had a lot of bombing?
No. No, we haven't, not yet. As I said, it was that one place, shrapnel in different places. They've shot down a few that have come up flying around or whatever, but they have not aimed directly at Stepanakert, and this is my personal feeling, is they probably know if we get hit here, then we're going to answer back. And if we answer back, they've got a lot of, there's a lot of places there that we can hit that could cause little damage. And we wouldn't want to do that, obviously. But if they make the move of getting Stepanakert, obviously they'll get their answer. And I think well deserved.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, you are a star, Artemis. Really are. Like a heroine. You still got that lovely, wicked smile.
Well, we're trying to keep our morale up. It's as you know, it's not easy. I mean, I told your story. Where did I tell it the other day? The ladies all were gathered, and I said, and they said, "Oh, how come you're here? You know, you could be in Australia and all this." And I told the first story when we met you, and we came on a cargo plane, and I said, I'm not the real heroine here. I said I had a baroness from England telling me to keep calm and what we should do and pray and things like that, and they were having a good old laugh and saying, really? And I said, yes, and she's still with us, and she's interested and concerned and everything like that. So we've gone through it. We're going through it again, and I think we'll definitely come out of it with flying colours.
And with a lot of prayer and a lot of
yes. I think the prayers will help, definitely. Prayers will help. And then I just want to add also, and not just the diaspora, obviously Armenia, but locals here, families that have been taken out of their villages or cities or whatever, drivers, taxi drivers and buses and things like that are offering free lifts to Yerevan. They just come and stand in the square or different locations and see if anyone wants to. They come to like Viaggio and say, okay, there's 2 places, anyone wants to get out, or they've got children to send. Bakeries are baking bread to send to the borders, obviously, or areas, or to families. I had my neighbour come up today, knock on the door and said, look, here's some bread for you. They've left it downstairs in a box for the building for people just to come and pick it up. Restaurants are cooking meals for in the first 2 days when it was a little bit, it happened suddenly. Obviously, the government hadn't started, but so the restaurants like Viaggio cooked 40 pizzas and took it to the wounded in the hospitals, and then the next day, obviously, the government started feeding them properly and things like that. So that sort of work is going on between everyone. Is just it's amazing, and I think that's what's keeping everyone going. And it's not 3 million Armenians, because we're talking about, with the people all around diaspora, we're talking about 10 people who are 10 million Armenians who are here, not physically obviously with the Armenian people, but around the world. All the diaspora Armenians are all united and helping out so we can get through this.
Yeah. There were reports that was an Armenian plane shot down by a Turkish jet over Armenia itself. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard that. No, I haven't heard that. I think Armenia would have, actually, Lady Cox, for 5 days, I honestly have not gone through, I haven't watched any news. I haven't been able to, and not because of the firing and that, it's just keeping up with everything. We've been out in the hospitals, trying to cook a meal, answering messages, worried people writing on a messenger wanting some sort of answer. So I'm copy pasting, writing we're okay and this and that. And so I haven't been keeping up, even in the internet. I haven't been looking to see what reports are, but I'm definitely sure once you're in contact with Armenia and the others, they'll be able to tell more specific information that I cannot.
But if that did happen, it's much, much more dangerous for Azerbaijan and Turkey, because, you know, we all know they see Artsakh as a disputed territory. But if one sovereign nation attacks another sovereign nation, that should get
right. Well, what happened before this, as I said, we've gone through a lot. We had the COVID, we had Syrian Armenian problems in Syria, and then Davush, the region of Davush, that's Armenia. They attacked there, didn't they? So it's already happened. And what happened about that? Nothing, Lady Cox. They just know that the world, as you know, here it's unfortunate and very sad that money talks, and oil, exactly. So in this case, no one wants to make a stand against them. So if you're talking about,
as Russia, have you heard anything about Russia doing anything useful?
Russia, I think it's saying it's, if I'm not wrong, with ammunition and that, it's getting it to Armenia. I can't quote that, obviously, but also they're sort of saying, well, they've got to decide both sides what they want to do. I think it's gone past the stage of saying, let's sit down around a round table and discuss it, because they were asking for that. We've been asking for that for a long time. And also it's a violation of the ceasefire. I mean, so much for the ceasefire treaties or whatever paper they signed, because it means nothing for these I don't know what to call them even. We've got good words in Armenian, but I can't say, I don't know what to say in English.
I think
you've got some good words about them.
You have.
Yeah.
Andrew, have you got any questions or comments?
I think that's really helpful. Actually, it's very good to hear from you, and lovely to hear your positivity amidst the struggle. And you know, our love and our prayers are with you all this time.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. That we need a lot of that, and we are all hoping. I think everyone's morale is high. Obviously, the mothers that have got a lot of children, they're concerned and they're out of the area, and it's much better than that. It's not that they're running away from the war. Their husbands and brothers and sons can actually do a better job if they don't have to be concerned about, oh, what about my child over there if something happens? So it gives them a peace of mind, I think. But the rest of the people, they're all saying the same thing. We can't stop. We can't just sit there and let them do this. So we're all doing, and it's something that And it's a question that if you ask anyone in the world, which I would ask you, what would you do if someone was doing that? What would you do? You pick up a gun or a rifle and you protect yourself. And if it means you have to go forward so that you protect the people in your, backstage or your families, then you would. And you would kill for that too. So it's nothing unusual that we are doing or surprising. We're peaceful. We're Christians, peaceful people wanting to live peacefully on our land. That's all we want.
Exactly. One of the reasons why I love you so much. There are lots of other reasons as well.
We're going to run out of time very shortly.
Beth, did you have any questions or anything? Because you're new to the situation. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but it was lovely to hear from you and just hear how the morale is still so high in spite of everything. And yeah, it was lovely to hear from you.
Well, you love me.
Yes, we hope we can meet each other next year.
What can we do to help? My final question. I'm sending a statement with Andrew's help.
Okay, I think if your side is I think it's coming from you, the Baroness of the House of Lords, and that whatever you can say, condemning them, saying you're standing for maybe the Foreign Affairs Ministry can tell you what they need to help, but I think your voice and what you say in your statements will make a big difference, and that will be something that hopefully other nations or countries, powers in the world will take notice of it and take some sort of action. That's what we want.
And just a quickie, I mean, if I send some to you, which I will, and obviously to people in Artsakh, you can forward them to places like Australia, your contacts.
Yes. I'll put it, if you do, I'll put it on my Facebook page, and that's it. Everyone gets it. I mean, Facebook nowadays, that's what everyone goes through. So whatever you have, we just share it, and it goes all over. We've got our ANC committees all around the world. If I send it to the Australian one, they'll just pass it around, no problem. All you have to do is just...
Your message to anybody watching this, who, as a person in Artsakh experiencing this experience, what do you say to the people out there?
I would say we have been forced to be in this situation. We have been forced to forced to fight, defend ourselves. We are not, our enemy has led us to this situation. No one wants their homes to be destroyed, their families to be separated, and no one wants to be, they want to live just a normal life like everyone else. But because of the Azeris and obviously the Turks, we have gone through, and it's the third time that I've been through, but in our history, if anyone goes back, it's been the story that's been happening over and over again, and it has to come a time where it has to stop, because you can't live that sort of life that you're always worried and concerned about what your neighbours will do next. That's basically it. And the world should know that Armenian people are very strong, courageous and united, and nothing will break us, obviously.
Well said.
Well said.